Let's go out to Mexico. We are going to talk with Ulrich. Him is saying that the expanding universe clearly confirms the Bible. Well, hey, Ulrich, you were talking with SR and Cross Examiner. What you got?
Hello. Yes, we observe the universe expanding, and then, but that's where we are at right now. But then the atheists conclude it has always been like that, which doesn't make sense. Then the universe goes back to be really small, the singularity, and then you have the Big Bang. I said, but why do we interpret stuff would always have been the same way it is right now?
Are you talking about the rate of expansion might have changed over time? Is that what you say? Like, what are you saying has what do you think our position is as far as somebody who is not inserting God into this equation, as far as it always being the same? Because my understanding of the current Big Bang cosmology is we see that the universe is expanding. Physics says that once something's in motion, it tends to stay in motion until acted upon by an outside force. So if we assume nothing is acting on the universe, then you can rewind the tape and everything shrinks down to a singularity. So where in there are we messing up?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of ridiculous to think the universe was once a singularity?
All of the math, all of the science that we use to have this talk right now, every bit of science we have to talk over the internet, to use GPS systems, all comes from the same math that shows that the universe used to be at a single point. It all ties together. It all predicts everything. It predicts gravitational lensing on stars. It predicts exactly where various objects are going to be in our solar system at any given time. It all works. So why do you think it's ridiculous? You're making a logical fallacy that everything that points to answer X points to answer X, but answer X is just, I don't like it. It's an absurd result. Therefore, we must be wrong. What evidence do you have that it wasn't always expanding and didn't come from a singular point?
Look, you said we can't predict the future. Yes, but we cannot predict the past. We don't know what really happened millions of years ago.
Hold up. Ulrich, stop. Yeah, stop. Ulrich, hang on. Okay. Let's just talk like normal people. Okay. If you walk into your kitchen and there is like a burnt roast sitting on your stove and like, I don't know, a gallon of milk that's knocked over and like leaking on your floor. Like, you may not know every fucking single thing that happened in the last few minutes, but you have a decent fucking idea, my brother. I mean, tell me that I'm wrong with that.
Okay, but taking your example, let's say I come to my house.
Okay, so hang on. So stop, Ulrich. So stop. It sounded like you agreed with that statement, with that general concept. You agree that there actually 100% are methodologies for us to understand about the likelihood of events that have just occurred. And we can continue to do that way on down the chain. Funny enough, I'm just going to throw this cute little analogy out there. It's actually the same concept that we're doing when it comes to like DNA and evolution and stuff. If I can figure out how to, prove that I'm connected to my parents through that shit, eventually down the chain, we can find other common ancestors. It's the same thing, man. So like, why would you be so hardcore on this? We can't predict the past when like you absolutely do this on a regular basis, man. You just agreed to it. I mean, do you see where we're coming from? If we put a little bit of brain power to it, the ability for us to figure out how things were yesterday, 3 years ago, 3,000 years ago, like it is there. We can do it, right?
Yes, but not infinitely. And
okay. Wait. Why? Yeah. Why not to infinity?
Right.
What changes? Big numbers shouldn't scare you.
Right.
Why not to 4 point whatever billion years ago or 13.5 billion years ago?
If it works for last week.
If I see, you know what air hockey is? Do you know what air hockey is? An air hockey table? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm looking at the air hockey table and I assume it's a frictionless surface. And I see, just for the last second, I see this puck moving across it at a certain speed, right? Let's say 1 meter a second, right? Or let's say 1 centimeter a second, right? I can safely assume, barring any other evidence, that 1 second ago, I know where it was 1 centimeter back, right? That's what we're talking about with the expanding universe. The physics says it's going to keep going until something changes it. So what you seem to want to insert is that hockey puck. We can't be sure that it was 1 centimeter back 1 second ago because God might have moved the hockey puck. That's what you're saying. God might have changed it. God might have made the hockey puck appear just now and then have it move so it looks like it was moving forever. Or the Big Bang didn't really happen. God just magicked it into existence to look like that it's always been expanding. Is that your argument?
It kind of is, yeah.
What evidence do you have that God magicked anything?
In the Bible, it says God is expanding the universe.
Okay,
Why should we listen to the
yeah,
Bible?
Yeah. Why is that important?
Because it confirms our observation that the universe is expanding.
We should listen. Let me understand your argument here. We should listen to it because it confirms what you want to have happen?
No, because it confirms what we observe, that the universe is expanding.
So the Spider-Man comic books observe that New York City existed 10 years ago. So we should listen to everything in the Spider-Man comic books as being true?
No, but we should listen to Spider-Man. That New York.
Okay.
No, but
Yeah,
I want to pass it to SR, but you just answered my question right there.
Yeah, that's real important because here's my next question for you is it possible for a book to be correct on some things and be wrong on other things?
Of course.
Absolutely. So the mere fact alone, and I'm just granting you this, by the way, because I believe the verse that you're quoting is the one about God stretching out the heavens, which we can go down the etymology of all the words that they're using there. The scholars would say that it doesn't mean the thing you're saying, Ulrich, but let's just give it to you, brother.
Sure.
Like, if the Bible does actually say, hey, God is actually stretching out the universe and it's expanding in all directions at equal time at the speed of light, is it still possible that there are other things in the Bible that are flat out wrong? Is that even possible, Ulrich?
For a book to say something is correct and something is wrong, of course, that's possible.
Yeah, cool.
Could the question wasn't a book. Can the Bible be wrong about things? Mm-hmm. That's the question.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, why do you believe that? That's what we're interested in. Why do you think that the Bible is 100% accurate?
Because it confirms everything we experience. And
so does the Spider-Man comic book. So does Harry Potter.
I've never seen Spider-Man.
So does Lord of the Rings. Anything that talks about a thing and then has mystical stuff, the real stuff is confirmed everywhere, right? And the mystical stuff is all made up, except for the Bible.
If you were just about to say, Ulrich, that you've never seen Spider-Man in the real world, like, please understand, you have to, especially after what Cross just said, like, you have to understand that our obvious response is going to be, yeah, man, that's kind of what we saying. You know, about this whole God and Jesus resurrection thing, you know, it's like, if that's what you're going to say, but here's really the thing, man. I think you've already done it. I think you already said it earlier. You just didn't use these exact terms, but what you said it's what we observe in the reality around us. It's what we go to the Bible and there's this verse and it says this thing. And then we look out in the world around us and, oh my gosh, there it is. That's called the correspondence theory of truth, right? It's basically saying that what we are getting at when we're saying something is the case, something actually exists in reality. What we're saying is that, like, yeah, we go out there and we experience it on a regular basis. And unfortunately, man, like this one really specific verse that still, I promise you, man, it's not me saying this, it's the literary scholars. It does not say the thing you are saying it says. But even if it did, man, this one verse in the Bible may have a slight correspondence to the world around us, but all of the most important things about the Bible do not. The idea of a mind existing outside of space-time, outside of the universe, having the ability to both interact in time and out of time, the resurrection of human beings. I mean, all of the most important stuff has none of the criteria that you yourself recognize as being necessary. So why believe the rest of it, man?
We have observed God. He came on earth as Jesus Christ and did miracles and rose from the dead.
What is your evidence to support that Jesus Christ lived on earth? What is your evidence?
I bet you I know.
All the witnesses and all the writings.
And where is that? And where is that
Where
found?
are the witnesses?
Where is that found?
Wait a second.
Of course,
Ulrich, who wrote? Okay, so we know that the life of Jesus Christ is documented in the 4 Gospels. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Who wrote the Gospels?
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
That's who the traditionally those names are associated with those texts. Those are certainly not the names of the people who wrote those books. I'm talking about the real world human beings who wrote those 4 books. Who were they?
I believe they were Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Okay, so you are at loggerheads with all of Christian scholarship. If you go to the bookstore, open up a study Bible, people who publish the Bibles, and look at the beginning of the Gospels, it will say in most honest Bibles, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are ascribed to these books out of church tradition. These manuscripts are anonymous. We don't know who wrote them. Go look in your own Bible and see if it says that. Okay, well, there we go. Then I don't care about what you say either. I'm done. If you don't care what all of Christianity says and all of the study Bibles teach and what is taught in seminary school to every priest, every preacher, every Christian who has studied the history of the Bible, if you don't care about any of that and you just want to sit in your own fantasy land and stare at your navel and say, it makes me happy to believe that those stories were written by those people, even though every piece of evidence we have says that that is not true, then you are not a serious person and you do not care about truth. You are exactly the type of person who is creating all the problems in the world right now. You don't care about facts. You don't care about evidence. You don't care about truth. And you take that from your religion and it risks expanding outward to everything you do. And if you don't see that, I feel sorry for you and I feel scared of the world that people like you will create.
Because I believe Luke was written briefly by Luke, I'm creating all the problems in the world.
I genuinely am frustrated.
Engaging. Yeah, exactly.
I'm genuinely frustrated, okay? And here's why. I'm not even going to put you on mute, right? I really want to talk to you about this. There's no way in the fucking world that out of everything Cross-Examiner just said, that is what you got from it if you were being in the slightest charitable in this moment. If you genuinely are not concerned with what is happening in the world around you, if you don't give a flying fuck if you're correct or not, hey man, you know what? I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to twist your fucking arm. I'm not going to fucking fight you. I'm not going to waste any fucking time. I have people in my queue right now, some of which I have talked to before. I know they are here for a genuine discussion because I've had it before. So truly, man, I want to give you this opportunity because, like, I could be doing anything else with my time. All of the crew that is behind the scenes, all of the people that come together regularly to make this community possible, we could be doing anything else, man. And if you genuinely don't give a fuck, just say it right now. No worries, Ulrich. We'll let you go. You have a great day. But if you are interested in having this conversation, then this is exactly what we have to address. We have to address people that are just sitting there just going, well, fuck it. I don't give a shit what the science says. I don't give a damn what the scholars say. Like, you do. because you wouldn't take your fucking car to some dickhead on the side of the road with a sign that says the end is near, bring me your trucks. Like, you'd take it to a mechanic, you'd take it to somebody that is an expert. So let's take a second. We'll all take a little breath. Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Ulrich, do you want to keep talking about this, or do you really not care about whether things are true and whether you believe things that are actually in the world around you? What do you want to do here?
I do care about things that are true. For example,
Okay.
John says in his gospel.
So hold up, stop, Ulrich, because this is a really easy question. This is a really easy question, and I'll go ahead and tell you where I got the answer. I got the answer from all of my religious friends. All of my religious friends have answered this correctly. Let's see if you can also do the same. Given the claim you just made, giving a shit about truth, I believe you. I think you're an honest person. I think you're a good person at heart. So I believe that you're going to do this. Ready? Name any instance in the Gospels where it says, I, the name of the individual, saw and witnessed these things happen. All I want is that, a verse. If you can give me the verse, that'd be great. Where in the Gospels does it say that?
At the end of the Gospel of John, it says that.
And what's the verse? What's the verse? I'll read it out now because I know that's wrong. I know you are wrong and you are purposefully being dishonest. So what's the fucking verse?
Look, I had Isaiah prepared.
What's the verse?
Chapter, verse.
What's the verse?
It's a very simple question.
Yes,
it's a very simple question. And let me give you a piece of advice, Ulrich. As somebody who has cross-examined people, the minute you don't answer the question, you appear very deceitful to the jury. You appear as if you are uncertain. You appear as if you are lying. And right now, the answer is very simple. And if you need just a minute to look it up, great. But all that SR asked was, give me the chapter and verse that says that. And you started talking about, listen, blah, 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 blah. When it's a simple answer and you don't answer it, there's but one conclusion. You don't know or you're lying. So let's give you one more chance. Can you give us the chapter and verse that SR was asking about?
What you got?
The chapter is John 21. I'm just reading through it, but I don't find the verse right now.
Okay, so I'll read it to you. Do you want me to? Because I can do it. You said it was the last verse. The last verse, I'll just triple check. I'll just triple check, Ulrich. You can be a big boy.
You can wait.
On chapter 21, John chapter 21, as you said, I'm just going to triple check. That appears to be the last chapter, like you agreed to. The last verse is 25.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to say Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them are written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written.
Isn't that beautiful? That's real.
It's fucking not. It is absolutely not. It is not. It is not beautiful.
Said it was. You said that this chapter and verse would be somebody attesting to being an eyewitness, and that's what SR is getting at. Because your original justification for believing the Bible, outside of, hey, every time it claims a thing, it's right, which we could dispute 800 times. You then said, oh, because of all the eyewitnesses. And then we got into, well, who wrote it? Because the reason I asked who wrote it is it wasn't written by eyewitnesses. We don't know who wrote it. It's anonymous, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you said, no. It says, I saw these things. And we asked for chapter and verse. We got it. It doesn't say that.
Yeah.
So why should we keep talking to you?
I didn't give you a verse.
Because you don't know your Bible. And here's the best part. I'm going to mute you for the first time, Ulrich. I could have done it this entire time and I haven't, you know? And here's what's so silly is that you don't even know your own book enough, because if you did, you would have said, "Hey, SR, you're being a little dishonest here." Because if you just read the verse before, it says the thing that I say. But guess what? It still fucking doesn't, but I'm just gonna give you the verse anyway, just so that you can see what it is actually like to give a shit about the truth. John chapter 21, verse 24 says, "This is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. We know that his testimony is true." Now, I don't know how much you know about fucking grammar, but I'm gonna let you know that is not the first person. That is not the first person there. It nowhere in the Gospels says, I, insert a name, wrote these things down. Here, though, is the answer to my question. A super basic understanding if you are going to be a believer in the Christian faith who actually gives a shit about being honest. The only answer you can give to that question of where is an eyewitness statement is in the beginning in the book of Luke Acts, where it says, I wrote this down for you, honorable Theophilus. But it doesn't even fucking still do the thing, man. It still falls short. You don't even realize how paltry this argument is. And the frustrating part about it is it genuinely doesn't feel like you care that much, to both myself and Cross-Examiner. So, Cross, I am going to give it to you. Do you want to keep going? I've still got him muted. I can unmute him if you want.
No, I don't think so. I think he's I will say, as a piece of advice as we let you go, that you are making an argument about what is theoretically the most important question of all of humanity's ever existence, right? What happens when we die? Is there the happy place? Is there the bad place? Do we keep existing as ourselves? This is, for most people, including me, would be the most important question of your lifetime, because if the claims made by people who believe in the Bible or other religions are true, then this isn't the end. And there's a whole bunch of stuff to come, right? And that's kind of important for those who want to experience it. So assuming it's the most important question, you would think you would take it much more seriously than you. If your entire argument rests on, a book says that it is the testimony of an eyewitness, therefore I am going to live my life by this, that's a really weak argument because, books lie. But you would at least know that, and that would be your reason. But when we ask you, you seem to not know any of this. You seem to be not familiar with the fact that every scholar in the Christian space would agree, we don't know who wrote the Gospels. Certainly wasn't eyewitnesses. They were written in the first century, 30 to 70 years after Jesus died. And they all seem to be related to one another, except for one of them sort of sitting off on the side that also mimics the things, but they all have their own sort of take on the Jesus narrative, but they're all building on one another. They look very much like first draft, second draft, third draft of a script that you're trying to punch up and make more exciting as they go along. That's what we're dealing with. And there's no evidence at all to support the claims you've made during our call at all. So I wish you luck. I'm sorry I got a little hot under the collar. I don't usually do that. But when somebody is so obviously doesn't care, about, this is why I believe, and then you are presented with facts that contradict the basis of your belief, and then you say you don't care. And that is the problem we're having in the world today.
Yes,